Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do something really good because it's going to lead up to like the main project. The main project is going to take place on Christmas Day, and you will see why. We're going to do a Northern Lights background, and I'm going to start with an undercoat or the bottom layer, and I'm going to do it in the blues. And I'm going to get all sorts of blues going in there, except for one little area in here, which I'm going to be doing in green. When we get there, I'll stop and I'll show you. So I'm going to do this in hyperlapse because it's the bottom layer. So I will, and we're going to begin by gathering up some blues. And I've gathered up just a bunch of them: cobalt blue, electric blue, 90% cool gray, Caribbean sea, cobalt turquoise, muted turquoise, indigo, and non-photo. And we're going to start doing the general background. This is going to be the bottom color, so I'm going to do it in hyper. And we're going to get just a bottom color going up. Now, I've decided that I was going to put a green streak going sort of through here. Okay, so I'm going to leave that open, and there I'm going to put an electric green or a light green. This is neon green. You can choose any color. Actually, this is the neon green. You can choose any color, but it needs to be a very light and bright color. And when we get there, I will show you. So I'm going to just start by working on the background a little bit, and I'll be back. Okay, I broke the background up into some interesting looking pieces. No lines are going to be perfectly straight. You want it like sort of like the way you did the clouds. And I kept a lot of space open, you could see, for other colors to go in. And that will make the sky brighten up and become dark. Now I'm going to switch over to another color. I started with my non-photo, and now I'm going to go to my cobalt blue, and I'm going to just start to work those areas with the cobalt blue so that they darken up. I'm going to do the same thing again, but with a little bit of aquamarine. Next color I'm going to go in with is powder blue. With the powder blue, I'm paying particular attention to the edges over here because I want a gradient going into the light. So I'm going to achieve that with the powder blue and going into maybe the cloud blue. So that's why I'm going to really add a lot to the edges. Now don't worry if everything doesn't look completely blended yet. We're going to hit that later. I'm just making sure that my color palette is the right thing. We're still on bottom layer. I'm switching over now to cloud blue, which is a little bit lighter and more gray than the powder blue. I always think of powder blue as like baby blue. At this point, I'm going to add in some neon yellow, and the neon yellow is going to go wherever I want the sky to flash with the bright lights. And this is just an under color, and the real colors will come afterwards. But this is really just to hold it. Next, I'm going to use my white. Now, I've got my first layer down. Now I'm going to start bringing out the colors and blending the colors. So I'm going to get out my white, and I'm going to make sure my edges where the blue meets the yellow are very blended. I don't want any hard lines at all between the blue and the yellow. It should flow into each other seamlessly. I'm happy with the bottom blending, so I'm all prepped. Now we're going to make the sky happen. Indigo blue. Now I'm going to be working way slower than I was. I'm going to get my indigo blue going, starting at the bottom and darkening up all the corners where light wouldn't get into. Okay, I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to put indigo blue over the entire picture, leaving spots open. Like, see over here where I left this little area open? And that had this color in it, which is the cobalt, and you could see the cobalt popping out. Now I can give the cobalt a second coat. Really bring it out. And a little drop of white. And I'm going to be doing that throughout the entire picture. I've got some final color palettes picked out, and as you can see, I started doing it in here. This is just about finished, and I've got two of them here. Let me just get them out. Okay. For the green in here, the light that comes from Northern Lights, I've picked out my two lightest greens. One's a luminescent green and one's a neon green, well, light green. You can get the same color palette out of any kit. Take your two lightest greens. If you have a neon green, great. Then you're going to want your yellows, your neon yellow, and I've got my Canary Yellow. And that for that, you're also going to have white. So this is going to be one color palette, and you can create it with any of your pencils. Remember, your two lightest greens, your white, Canary Yellow, and neon. If you've got neons, use neons. And that's one color palette. Then, for the upper layers, I'm using dioxazine purple hue, 90% cool gray, cobalt blue, indigo blue, and non-photo blue. And that's going to be in addition to white, and that's going to be in your blue area. I'm going to be working back and forth with these pencils, going by instinct, basically, where I want my lights, where I want my darks, When I have my lights, I'm going to add the white. The one thing you have to remember is between your blue and your yellow, you always add some white in between so that they blend really smoothly. So I'm going to put it on hyperlapse and let you take a look at how I've been doing it. Okay, it's time to start working with my green and yellow palette. I still have a little bit with the blue, but I want to get the green and yellows in there. And as I said before, I chose a very bright palette, and you can use any pencils that you have. You need 2 colors of bright green. Hopefully one is neon, and 2 yellows, one canary yellow and one a neon yellow, and a white pencil. What I want to do is I want to get my greens in there, make sure my pencil point is clean. Okay, I'm going to start with the neon green. Now I already have a base of the neon yellow down, and it's mixed in with white, and then I put a little bit of yellow there just to test out some of the colors. I like the way this came out, so I'm going to repeat what I did in here. I'm going to also be adding a little bit of blue in there just to break it up a little bit. The more you break it up, the better it looks. So I'm going to start bringing in the greens. I don't want to get too far close to the edge because I want the blue in there, the blue and white. So I'm just working some of the brighter areas or the lesser colored areas. Now I'm going to get as close up to the blues as I can without covering the blues. And I'm going to get a layer of white in there. Sorry, I'm doing a lot of swirls, so the camera is like going with the flow of things. I'm trying to hold it down as much as possible, but let me see if I can adjust it on the floor. Get it a little bit more stable. Not bringing it to the edge. This is a richer color, so I just want it sort of in the middle. This is much creamier with Prismacolor, but I really want to work with these Holbeins. Okay, I'm going to keep working on it, and I'll come back when I switch colors. Okay, I'm going to move on to the darker green, which is still pretty light. And let's see. This is the light green. Just making sure. Yes, the light green. And I'm going to get that towards the middle. Because even though it's very light, it's still darker than the neon. I'm going to just hit a couple of areas just to give it a contrast. Okay, now I'm going to go with the white. I'm going to get some white going on the edges because I don't want to make them too heavy. I want them really light, really blended out. And you can see I'm pulling some of the blue, which is what I want to do, pulling some of the blue into the yellow and the green. The more I pull in, the fluffier it looks. All right, this needs work. Once you get to this stage takes the longest, and it's the easiest, most satisfying. I mean, it's totally satisfying to get it looking good and exactly the way you want. But this is when it comes hard to put your pencil down, because you just keep wanting to improve it and improve it. And I'm loving this. I really am. It's exactly what I had hoped it was going to come out looking like. Get this a little bit fluffier. And now that I got a contrast going, I'm going to start going back to my blues, just to make sure that my blues are dark enough. Get some purple going in there. My paper is pretty saturated, so if you go light, not heavy with your hand, very light, you squeak out another layer. But you have to be very light touch. Just scrape the top. All these hard lines that you're putting on now need to be blended out. So don't forget. See, I got a lot of tooth right there. So it's really picking up the purple. And I'm going to blend that out. In fact, I'm going to add a little bit more blue in there because that's too purple. Lots of tooth. Okay, go back with my white. And just hit it with my white very lightly. We'll start it flowing. I'm going to end up toning down some of it along the edges. Because if you look at a photograph, it's very toned at the edges. That is way too much. That needs to be toned. Okay, I'm going to get out my 90%. This is my purple. Here's my 90%. And I'm going to tone. When I tone, very light. I don't want to put much on the page. I want to keep the color and just get rid of the bright. You just got to remember that you have to blend all of this out. That's what I want to see. Okay, let's get all this. Okay, now I'm going to get out my Canary Yellow. Now, Canary Yellow is an intense, bright yellow, but it comes off a little bit darker. It's not as highlighted. Not going to put it on heavy, but it'll give me a different tone in there. And it definitely picks up well on the paper. And this is all by instinct, going and having fun with it. Nobody's picture is going to look exactly alike. Your pictures won't look like mine. Let them look like yours. If you're having fun with it, it'll come out. Just takes a little bit of time. Canary Yellow, that will blend out also, because this area over here needs to be blended. And this will definitely blend it. Definitely looks like Northern Lights. You made me thinking you're doing a lot of spacey pictures lately. The moon. And everything that I've been doing. Yeah, I might have a reason. You never know when you need space. Got some yellow in there. Or green. I'm starting to burnish, so it's probably the end of my tooth. Not much left going on the page. At least not with the oils. See if I can find a neon yellow Prismacolor. Okay, I've taken it to the point where I really can't do much more. I'm starting to varnish the paper. So I'm going to get out my Posca for my last final details. And I'm going to get a little bit of stars going in there. Just in the dark areas. Break it up. If you put too much, you can always take it off. It's only Posca. And I'm going to do one other thing. Right in this area here, I want to get a bright spot. So I'm going to add in some Posca and tap it down. I just want it a little whiter. Not too much. Just get it a little milky. Okay. Give it a few seconds. I'm going to get some yellow going back into that area right there. Let's make sure it's dry. Maybe I'll give it another second or two. I don't think there's much more I can do on this. It's definitely starting to varnish. If I was using anything other than coloring book paper, I would definitely have some more going on this. Okay. Now, if you go very lightly over the Posca, you will get another layer, and that's what this is doing. It worked. Very lightly. Okay, I like that. Okay, I'm gonna call the background. 1 second. Just give it a couple more. All right, guys, there you have it. Northern Lights background. We're going to revisit this picture and we're going to do the shell. But that is how to do a Northern Lights. And I will see you in my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.